An impregnable fortress, said one old general, is only impregnable until someone proves otherwise. Throughout history, kings and conquerors have built massive citadels they believed could never fall. Towering walls, deep moats, secret tunnels, and clever defenses, all symbols of eternal strength. Yet time after time these fortresses fell, not always to brute force, but to hunger, deceit, new technology, or betrayal from within. In this countdown, we explore the 10 strongest fortresses ever built, and how even the mightiest walls eventually met their match. These rankings consider architectural genius, defensive power, siege duration, and the circumstances of their fall. From medieval Europe to ancient Asia, these fortresses remind us that even stone can't outlast human ambition. It was said no army could take it. Richard the Lionheart built Château Gaillard between 1196 and 1198, a masterpiece of medieval warfare rising above the River Seine. The fortress had rounded walls to deflect siege engines and layered defenses years ahead of its time. Richard proudly declared, "I could hold it even if the walls were made of butter." But in 1204, after Richard's death, French King Philip II proved otherwise. His army besieged the castle for 7 long months, exploiting a small weakness in the outer wall and a lapse in leadership. Once the French infiltrated through a latrine chute, yes, literally the toilet, the unbreachable fell. Even the greatest fortress means little when its master is gone. Rising from southern France like a stone crown, Carcassonne is a fortress of legends. With 2 immense walls, 53 towers, and miles of ramparts, it was built to terrify invaders. Its design forced attackers into a deadly zone between inner and outer walls, a medieval killing field. Yet when the French Crusaders came in 1209, they didn't storm the walls at all. Instead, they surrounded the lower city, cut off supplies, and forced the ruler to surrender without a fight. Carcassonne didn't fall to battle, it fell to logic. Its strength made it untouchable, but isolation made it powerless. Off India's western coast, rising from the Arabian Sea, stands Murud Janjira, a fortress unlike any other. Its giant walls tower 40 feet above the waves, housing over 500 cannons, once aimed in every direction. No army ever conquered it, not the Portuguese, not the British, not even the powerful Marathas. Its secret? Geography. Surrounded completely by water, it was unreachable by siege engines or cavalry. Murud Janjira's fall came not in battle but in bureaucracy, when it peacefully joined India in 1947. It remains one of the only true unconquered fortresses in history. Sometimes, victory is simply endurance. Perched on a 400-foot cliff over Jodhpur, Mehrangarh Fort looks less like human architecture and more like the mountain itself. Its walls, 70 feet thick and 120 feet high, merge seamlessly with the rock below. Attackers had to climb steep slopes, navigate 7 massive gates, and face defenders raining arrows and boiling oil from above. Yet even this Fort of the Sun was breached, not by power, but by politics. Betrayals and negotiated surrenders allowed rivals to seize control in 1459 and again in 1808. The walls still bear cannon scars today, silent witnesses that even stone can't stop treachery. Standing guard over the English Channel, Dover Castle is called the Key to England for good reason. Whoever held Dover controlled the shortest crossing between England and Europe. Its great keep has walls 21 feet thick, surrounded by deep ditches and tunnels built for countermining, anticipating attackers who would dig underneath to collapse it. In 1216, Prince Louis of France tried just that, using miners to collapse part of Dover's gatehouse tower. Yet the defenders sealed off the breach and fought back. The siege failed, and England's key stayed in English hands. Centuries later, during World War II, the same tunnels became a command center, proving the fortress's lasting strength. When knights built Krak the Chevaliers in the 12th century, they created the perfect fortress. Concentric walls, deep moats, endless stores, and water reserves to last years. Its double walls created layers of death for attackers. It could house 2,000 soldiers and enough supplies for 5 years. But in 1271, the mighty Mamluk Sultan Baybars laid siege. Unable to break in, he used psychology instead, forging a letter supposedly from the Crusader king ordering surrender. The knights believed it and yielded. Krak fell not to siege engines, but to a clever lie. The mightiest walls crumble fastest when deceived from within. High above the Dead Sea, Masada was the final stand of Jewish rebels against Rome in 73 AD. Built on a plateau 1,300 feet above the desert floor, it was thought impossible to take. But the Romans built the impossible, a 375-foot ramp of stone and sand over months of backbreaking labor. When they finally breached the walls, they found silence. The defenders had taken their own lives rather than be enslaved. Masada fell, but only in body. Its defenders' spirits turned defeat into eternal legend. Sometimes, surrender isn't the moment of weakness, it's the final act of defiance. Just across from the Taj Mahal lies Agra Fort, the beating heart of the Mughal Empire. With walls 70 feet high, crocodile-filled moats, and double ramparts stretching across 94 acres, it was both palace and fortress. For centuries it held strong until the empire itself weakened. Rival kings and invading armies didn't break the walls, they broke the men inside. When the British arrived in 1803, they didn't storm Agra, they starved it. Agra Fort didn't fall by battle, but by exhaustion. The strongest stone is nothing without the will behind it. Few fortresses are older or bloodier than Aleppo's citadel. Built atop a massive man-made mound, it's been fortified for over 4,000 years. Its main gate was a fortress itself, towering, twisting, and lined with murder holes where boiling oil and arrows poured down. But even this ancient titan couldn't withstand betrayal. The Mongols took it in 1260, not by strength, but by trickery, offering safe passage, then slaughtering defenders once the gates opened. Later, Tamerlane took it again when a guard showed his men a hidden water tunnel. The walls never failed, but the hearts of men did. For 1,000 years, Constantinople stood behind the world's most formidable defenses, the Theodosian Walls. 3 layers of stone, a 60-foot moat, 40-foot walls, and 96 towers. A fortress so perfect, it turned back 12 sieges. It withstood Persians, Arabs, Bulgars, and Crusaders. Until 1453. That year, Sultan Mehmed II arrived with a weapon no wall had ever faced, the Great Bomb, a cannon that hurled 1,200-pound stones. After weeks of bombardment, cracks formed. Then came fate. A small gate, Kirkoporta, left unlocked. The Ottomans poured in. Constantinople fell, and with it, the medieval world. The age of the cannon had begun, and with it, the death of the fortress age. Every wall tells the same story, that strength invites challenge. Château Gaillard fell to poor leadership. Krak the Chevalier fell to deception. Constantinople fell to innovation. The greatest fortresses were never truly beaten by stone or sword, but by the human flaws inside them: fear, pride, and betrayal. As one chronicler wrote after the fall of Constantinople, "No wall can keep out time." Fortresses crumble, empires fade, but the lessons of their falls, endurance, courage, and the cost of pride, still stand stronger than stone.